what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sully squad. Tough game last night. As you can see, I got a pile of crap on. Lost a bet with my man Paul Spencer from We Dem Boys podcast. So I got a rock a Tony Romo jersey. My team let me down.
Boy, did they let you down.
Tough game. 2 tough games in a row. I mean, we thought last week was bad versus the 49ers, and last night was pretty much just as bad, if not worse. So we're gonna recap all these horrible moments from this game and kind of look ahead to see exactly where this football team is. So I got my usual cast minus Mike Fuji. Mike Fuji couldn't make it tonight, but I got my man Sean Kilrain to my what's that? Well, let's see. It's my left on the TV screen. My right from where I'm sitting. So what's up, Sean? How you doing?
Not much, man. Just what a shitty performance by the Eagles, man. There ain't nothing more to say,
Yeah.
To the coaches, to the players, but 10-3 is just a number. So
yeah, and then right below Sean, I got my man, Mr. 6 for 6, Diego the Hammer Bianchi. What's up, Diego? How you doing, bro?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Good. Better than the Eagles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So where do we begin? I mean, do we, the football team's still 10-3. The last 2 weeks were terrible. I know we had the gauntlet of about 5. We had, 6 tough games in a row? We had Dallas?
Yeah.
Dallas, KC, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas. And then next week, I'll tell you what, I'm not I know I heard a lot of fans on the radio kind of saying that, we're going to get right next week against Seattle. That's going to be a tough, with the way our defense is playing and the weapons that they have. That's not going to be an easy football game, especially out there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, listen, the last 2 games were really tough, and I think that put a sour taste in our mouths. But coming into this 6-week stretch, if you told me before that the Eagles would go 4-2 and finish 14-3, I think 9 out of 10 Eagles fans would have signed up for that. I think the problem is how it's happened. You know what I'm saying? Because you had the measuring stick versus the 49ers. You had the measuring stick versus Dallas. Yeah. And it was kind of like, don't you guys think it was kind of like the way we lost too? Like, it'd be one thing if you lost by like a touchdown, what I mean? You lost by a field goal, but I mean, this team got boat raced 2 weeks in a row. What's your guys'
in reality, we could have lost 4 games in a row. I mean, you had to come from behind against KC. You had to come from behind against Buffalo. 2 good teams that I think if we played that game 10 times, they're not giving up that 10-point lead 9 out of 10 times. It's just that was the one game the Eagles, the 2 games the Eagles were able to steal from KC and Buffalo. But I think it's like you said, Joe, the way we lost the last 2 games has been very, very bad, because everyone looks horrible. There's no bright spots to take away from anything in the last 2 weeks. Passing game, horrible. Jalen, horrible. Defense, horrible. We watched Lane Johnson get beat yesterday. Offensive line get beat. It's just bad football all around. That's why I think everyone's bugging. I still feel the same way I felt last week. I do think Dallas is a beatable team. I don't think there's a team in this league that if Eagles didn't clean up all the mistakes over the last that they had over the last 2 weeks, we can't compete with. I just I think that team's just a little bit better than us right now.
Absolutely. And from the penalties that, like you said, Diego, the player personnel, it was just a shit show, man. And the linebackers were so depleted. You got Morrow, you got the guy who just came in, Shaq Leonard, played sparingly, Zach Cunningham coming back from injury. But Slay, to me, and Bradbury, it's time to move on. Whether it's inside what we have or draft, something's got to give.
Well, Bradbury especially. I mean, Slay listen, I don't really love Slay's attitude. I mean,
Nope,
like,
it's like
I mean,
yourself.
you got an all-time great like Seth Joyner coming out there and come giving his opinion, and we got our ass kicked last week, and you got Slay sitting there like, oh, no, I played. Nah, dog. Listen, we don't want to hear that mentality here in Philly. But the one thing I will say, if you looked at the numbers, when Slay was targeted, Dallas really didn't do anything. But when Bradbury was targeted, it was ugly. I mean, they could.
Yeah, you said that. Showed that in a text. He
Yeah, but
was exposed.
last week was the opposite. Bradbury's numbers look perfect last week. I think it's about they both. Whenever other teams decide to pick on them, they're able to be picked on.
Absolutely. It's not. We don't have shutdown corners like we said before. It's pathetic. It's atrocious. And then with Reed Blankenship, you're possibly Pro Bowler getting out with a concussion. That kind of dampened the defense. But once again, we don't have the player personnel, And the offense, if you guys agree, like everybody knows what we're going to run. It's so vanilla. We don't do
anything quick. We don't do anything quick.
Yeah.
Everything is a long developing route, or get Devontae Smith and AJ Brown down the field. And if you watch Dak Prescott and Purdy the last 2 weeks, why are they so successful? They get the ball at their hands in less than 2 seconds. These receivers are getting open off the line. We have the talent to do that. We just don't do it.
Yeah, they just had. I got NBC Sports Philly on. They just said the last 3 games, the Eagles are giving up 36.3 points per game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think I've seen something that in the last 4 games, the defense has been on the field for the same amount of snaps that they were for the first 9 games.
True. Yeah, absolutely. And here's another thing. You bring up a good point, Diego. Like last year, Gannon had proper rotation. Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, the front to the linebackers. Desai, he's keeping these guys in for however goddamn long. Like, dude, they need a breather, rotate it. That's one thing that they don't do this year. That Gannon did, the proper rotation. Give these guys breathers, and it's showing. But once again, we had no player personnel.
And the defensive line is supposed to be our bread and butter, but even they're not getting no pressure up front. It's a whole that's why I think the biggest thing is such a collective loss. Everyone stinks from everyone. Everyone. Tell me someone who you're like, wow, that guy's been really good the last 4 weeks. No one. The games they won. Exactly, the kicker. That's it. The game they won, the games they won are by the skin of their teeth, and the games they lost they got spanked. They didn't score a touchdown. They didn't score an offensive touchdown yesterday. The first time since 2019.
Yeah, and you guys can agree. You want to see a running game. Where the hell is it? I want to see more of Swift, like in week 4, like up to week 4. We don't even see that.
I think our running game was not horrible yesterday. I don't think it's used the right way. Like, if your team's struggling, let's try to get in front of the sticks. Let's run first and second down, pick up 8 yards, and make these third downs manageable. They don't do that. They'll throw them first down. Now you got 2nd and 10. Run on second down. Now you got 3rd and 8. It's like the situational running isn't good.
What do you think of this? Mike Lauro says Eagles showed no heart last night. Even that POS DeMarcus Lawrence was talking shit after the game.
Yeah, I agree. No heart for nobody. Yeah. Even Jalen, the guy we're always like, so much heart. He always comes up big. Has shown nothing over the last couple weeks.
Chris Rapizzi says was waiting to see Joe in Jersey. He's a man of his word. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a Romo. Listen, like I said, I hate the Cowboys, but I do respect the story of Tony Romo. I mean, not that I ever rooted for him because I never did, obviously. But at least he was an undrafted guy from Eastern Illinois that carved out a good career. So, if Tony Romo had played for any other team other than Dallas, I actually would have liked the guy. But unfortunately, hey, he wore the star, so he was dead to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I have right down here on the bottom. I mean, are the Eagles still? Or yeah, actually, you know what? This is interesting. I was all set to. Chris beat me to this. I was all set to bring this up. Eagles went deep
don't
on
get
a
it.
Eagles went deep on a 3rd and 2. Literally, he must be reading my mind because I was all about to talk about that. I don't understand that. The fact that the Eagles do the push. For the life of me, I don't understand. If it's 3rd and 2, I don't know why the Eagles don't run it because you in essence have
Exactly.
you in essence have 2 plays to get 2 yards. I mean, in theory, you could do two tush pushes or run 1 play. Maybe you get a yard and a half, and then you do the tush push on 4th down and you get the 1st down. But
Yeah.
I did not understand that call at all. I really didn't.
I just
A lot
don't
of
get
calls
it.
not
Like
to
you said,
understand.
run the ball. Throw them off, whether it's Gainwell and Swift in the backfield. Mix it up. But everybody knows what we're going to do. We're so vanilla. It's like, okay, they're going to run this play, run that. It's just
You're also never going to win games where your 3 best offensive players fumble, where you settle for field goals. And once again, first drive Dallas scores on us. We go straight down the field on them. About to go in, Jalen fumbles. Then the next 2 drives, we kick field goals. Boom, it's 17-6. We put ourselves down against these teams too quick with mistakes. That's why I feel like, are we still contenders, Joe? I would say yeah, because a lot of the mistakes that you've seen yesterday, I feel like are mistakes that are able to be cleaned up, fumbles, having better play calling, like that stuff that's able to be cleaned up. We have the players to do it.
Well, I was saying it to I said it to my buddy John Croft today because he was he was like destitute because I mean he's actually flying to Dallas today and he's like, man, he's like, I always rep my Eagles gear. He's like, dude, he's like, man, he's like we showed so bad. He's like, I don't even feel like rocking my Eagles gear. He's like, what happened to us? We're struggling so bad, blah blah blah. It's like we totally shit the bed. What I said to him honestly, and I firmly believe this. I think right now the Eagles are I think the best team in football right now is San Francisco 49ers. Okay, I think that was proven last week. I think
look at the way they're running plays too, Joey. It's
right.
amazing. Guys in motion.
Yeah.
Debo, Kittle. I mean, the ball's getting spread to any top-notch player they have, and it's.
But I think the top 3 teams in the whole NFL are all in the NFC. It's San Francisco, and then you got Dallas might be slightly, honestly, talent-wise, because I think Dallas has a better defense than us. I think Dallas might be a smidge little better than us. I think last night, I think, like Diego, you made a great point with the 3 fumbles. And again, you have to give Dallas credit for that because we can't just say, oh, the Eagles can't fumble the ball. Well, one of the things that makes Dallas very effective is they do cause those turnovers. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of Dallas's, like, I think if the Eagles played Dallas 7 times, if it was a 7-game series, I think there's a real good bet. The Eagles will win 3 here, Dallas will win 3 there, and it would depend on a turnover or a break and where the game was played in Game 7. I think it's that close, but I just think that Dallas is red hot right now. Dak's playing at an MVP level, and Dallas at home right now, they're almost like Seattle was about 10, 11 years ago with the 12th win. Dallas's home field advantage is unbelievable. I mean, they are so fast on that turf. They're so fast offensively and really defensively. I mean, did you guys see some of those plays? I mean, the Eagles were throwing the ball 5-6 yards, hoping A.J. Brown and Smith could break tackles, and Dallas was coming right up on it. They were so fast, the Eagles couldn't break any tackles.
Yeah,
right.
Gilmore, Bland. Yeah, they were reacting right to that catch, man, popping them right when it counts. But back to Dallas. Dallas has a tough game stretch. They play Detroit.
Dallas plays at Buffalo, at Miami, and then they play Detroit at home. Now,
and then Washington last game.
Yeah, Detroit's kind of coming back to earth a little bit, though. I mean, Detroit.
Yeah.
I think Dallas. I mean, Dallas could lose to Detroit, but the fact it's in Dallas, I think Dallas wins that game. I think there's a real good bet Dallas loses next week to Buffalo. That could be a spot where they lose. You know.
Well, Maurice brings up a good point. You know.
Yeah, he says Maurice Wright says a comment made by Seth Joyner was questioned by Mikey Miss. The comment was basically the Eagles' problems on the offense and defense, the team at this point can't be fixed. How do you all feel about that?
I disagree.
Yeah, I think they can.
I disagree because I feel like a lot of it's mistakes. Like when you go down against San Fran and you have a possibility of having the game at 14-0. Instead, you kick 2 field goals. The play calling could be a little better. You know what I'm saying? That you have to find a way to make them touchdowns. That can happen.
Yeah, Eddie Prather says Detroit isn't.
I agree. They're not. No, they're not.
I don't see that happening. And then
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas went 3-0, 4-0 the rest of the year. Went to Buffalo. I kind of like Dallas this week, but I could definitely see a path to Buffalo winning. I think Dallas beats Miami. I think Miami's a fraud good team. You know what I mean? Put a good defense on them and they get stopped.
Well, ever since they lost Phillips.
Yeah, that's a big loss too. That's a huge loss.
Phillips, that's your anchor of that defense. You know, anybody on that has a good defense. Once you lose a top-notch guy, it's next man up. But there hasn't been a next man up.
But
Miami, the only game they should be worried about, in my opinion, is Buffalo. That's the only game I think Dallas loses. The other 3 are, I think, walks in the park.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mike. I see Brian Johnson getting a head coaching job since all this stuff's going on, and Frank Reich will be back in the building.
Yeah, Eddie Prather says Dallas's strength is Buffalo's weakness. See, you know what? Here's I know you guys are saying Miami could be a fraud, but here's the point though. Dallas, as good as they are, though, they are a little bit slower on natural grass, and playing down in Miami might slow them down just a tad little bit.
I'm not saying they're. I see Miami kind of get, unlike Diego was saying, I see them giving them a little fight. Even though they lost Jalen Phillips, like you said, the grass, the weather, and Tyreek Hill, and that running back. When healthy, him and Moser, they're pretty solid. Well,
don't forget too, Miami's got Jalen Ramsey now back, so not saying you could stop CeeDee Lamb, but if you're Miami's D coordinator, maybe you have Jalen Ramsey kind of follow CeeDee Lamb all over the field, and then we see what happens.
True.
Well, they got Xavier Howard too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they got good corners. I think Dallas is rolling right now. They're rolling.
They are.
They're rolling on both sides of the ball.
Like I said, I mean, it could be wishful thinking, but I think this week against Buffalo could be a spot for them, just for the simple fact, Dallas is coming off that big emotional win Sunday night at home versus Philadelphia. They're rolling so high. Maybe. I know, like I said, I know they're rolling, but maybe going to Buffalo, and Buffalo's desperate. I mean, I'll tell you another thing too. I mean, you saw Buffalo beat that. How about the ending of that Buffalo game? By the way, the Buffalo Chiefs game. But real quick though, if Buffalo gets in, man, I think they're going to be a tough out, bro. I think Buffalo's going to be. If Buffalo does get in, I think they're a tough out.
Okay.
Eddie Prather says the teams that have beaten Miami are the teams that could get to Tua. Well, that's Dallas. That's Dallas. Tua depends on timing passes. Yeah, that's true. Well, bottom line is though, if the Eagles win out, it doesn't matter what Dallas does.
Don't matter what Dallas does. I do think the Eagles win out too. I mean, I know the Seattle game could be a little closer than we want it to be. We're better than Seattle. We're better than the Giants. We're better in Arizona. They should be get right games. It should be. Maybe we start trying new things and see if we can improve our offense here. Maybe, like Sean said, do some motion. Get Devontae Smith on some swinging motion or something like that. Just try new things here in these 4 weeks. I think we win these next 4 weeks.
He brings up a good point.
Maurice Wright says teams are hungry now. I really feel with 4 games left, the outcome of some of them games will be surprising.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Look at Detroit and Chicago. Who would have thought Chicago?
I think what Chicago had them beat the first time they played. Detroit scored 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes. So I think in some of these years you just see like some teams just have other teams' numbers.
Yeah,
not a good matchup for them. Chicago has just not been a good matchup for Detroit this year. Don't matter where they play.
Can I tell you what Chicago kind of reminds me of a little bit? And I'm not saying they're going to be really successful next week, but first off, Chicago made that trade for Montez Sweat. Ever since they've done that, they've been like the 4th best defense in the league the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Sweat has about 3.5 sacks in the last like 4 games or whatever.
Okay.
So that's number one. But I'll tell you what, Chicago reminds me a little bit of like the 1999 Eagles, like Andy Reid's first year. The Eagles were terrible, but towards the end of the year, they won like 2 or 3 games. Towards the end of the year, they started showing something. I kind of see a similarity with the Bears. Like, the Bears know they're going to get a top pick just from Carolina, and Justin Fields. I mean, he knows, dude, he's on a short leash because if they get the number 1 pick, they may go Caleb Williams. So Justin Fields, dude, Fields is out there trying to ball, man. I mean, he balled a little bit yesterday. He didn't look too bad. So I wasn't too shocked by that Bears team. And I'll tell you, Bears got a guy that the Eagles really miss, man. TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards is playing some great football out there, man. That was a huge, huge loss. I got a comment here. Paul Spencer, he says, "What's up, gentlemen? Greetings from Knoxville. Looking good in blue, Joe. I respect. I think the person for the Eagles that needs to look in the mirror is the coaching staff. Scheme-wise, went through it all with McCarthy and Kellen Moore. I think Dallas loses possibly 2 games, Buffalo and maybe Miami away." We'll see. I mean, like I said, I'm hoping they lose 1. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I got a couple more comments. Eddie Prater says Fields to me has earned the right to start for the Bears. And I'm not really going.
I don't think Fields earned anything. Fields makes too many mistakes. Fields misses too many open receivers. Fields to me, I think, is like who he is already. It's a 3rd year in the league. 3rd year.
There's rumor he might get traded to
Fields is who he is. And if I'm Chicago and I got a chance to get Caleb Williams, see it, Fields. You can fish me a 4th round pick, 5th round pick in the trade.
They're gonna get more. They'll get more than that because I read that like the team if New England may draft a guy, but like the Patriots could be interested. Pittsburgh,
the Raiders, I could see the Raiders being interested in that.
Yeah,
the Raiders like Drake May, but that's for another day for players.
He said he's going to the league. I just got a notification.
Yeah.
Maurice Wright says bet on the New York Giants playing their A game with one of those last 2 games. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, if we can't beat Tommy / Danny DeVito, then we deserve to be the wild card team.
Forget about it.
Let's see. Eddie Prather says Marvin Harrison Jr. should be the first pick.
He might be school.
Maybe talent-wise, but we all know it's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
Definitely a quarterback.
Maurice Wright says, "What up, Paul? Hope everything's good in Knoxville." I don't agree with Eddie Prather says Fields is better than Caleb Williams.
No, I disagree highly.
I mean, I do agree. Williams is a diva.
I agree with that.
No leadership skills.
I feel like Fields don't either.
Yeah. How about this? Chris Rapizzi brings up a point. I mean, if we're going to talk about the league,
baseball game.
3-0. I mean, what an ugly ass game. 3-0. Oh my God, what a snooze fest.
3-0, and Dobbs get Justin Jefferson hurt on like the second quarter. It's like you just got your best player back and you threw him right into a safety to take his head off.
Yeah, like you said, that's exactly what Tom Brady said last week about how he always made it a point to not get his guys hurt. And here you got Dobbs throwing his receiver right into getting his ass beat.
Yeah, horrible.
Like Chris said about the Texans-Jets game. Texans lost a lot of guys. They lost Shroud to a concussion.
Nico Collins.
Hamstring. I mean, but yeah, the Jets defense had 6 sacks.
Yeah. So. Speaking of Houston, so speaking of the AFC, I mean, isn't it ironic? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers were 7-4. They lose two straight weeks at home.
Yeah.
Won that 2-win Arizona, won the 2-win New England, and yet because of all the stuff, because of all the help they got yesterday, if the season ended today, they're still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ain't that
Cleveland.
something?
Yeah.
Cleveland keeps finding ways to win.
Yeah. It's that defense, man.
That defense is nasty.
Yeah. Myles Garrett, the Ladarius something. Yeah, he's the D tackle guy, man. There's something special, man. They bring it. They know how to get to that quarterback.
I'll tell you what.
Honestly, the AFC could be a little bit up for grabs. There's only maybe one dominant team in the AFC you can say is Baltimore, and even Baltimore looks beatable week in and week out.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I said to my father-in-law with watching the game yesterday, I thought the Rams were going to pull that out, but
me too.
Yeah, sure enough, the special teams, man. You know,
like Denver's playing good football right now.
Yeah.
Cleveland's playing good football right now. If Houston can get a healthy Stroud and Nico Collins, I think they're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
The Indianapolis is still in it. Yeah. The Buffalo Bills got themselves back in it.
How about the Bengals? That kid Browning's playing well.
Browning's playing not bad at all.
He's playing like he's on a mission, man. He's poised, man. You're right. The way he was throwing the ball, he threw a 57-yard bomb to Sidney Brown's brother, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing good, man. They've always had a good defense. I think I said that before with Hendrickson, the linebackers, and even some of the safeties. I mean, the secondary guys. But, yeah.
I think Jacksonville's in trouble.
Yeah, with Sunshine, like with that high
banged up.
Yeah,
he's banged up.
That ankle injury is a son of a bitch, man. It'll either make it or break you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Rapizzi says 2 games tonight. Who you all got? What do you guys think?
Green Bay against the Giants. Giants stink. Miami against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Who do you got, Sean?
Miami, because I'm not sold on Tennessee. You know, so Miami and Green Bay. Jordan Love's playing good. You know,
yeah, he's not playing bad.
You know, minus Christian Watson out with a hamstring injury, but you know, next man up, you got the guy Dobbs, and I forget who else, but yeah, give me the Giants Green Bay and Miami.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like Green Bay minus the 6. Green Bay. Tell you what, man, if Green Bay gets in, I think Green Bay could be a little tough because they're getting hot at the right time. Eddie Prather says Green Bay and Miami. Chris Rapizzi says Dolphins and Packers. Maurice Wright says, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to end up playing Green Bay in the first round. Yeah, you know, I totally agree. I mean, if the Eagles do wind up as the 2 seed, which is probably the most likely scenario right now, because although I'll tell you what, it wouldn't. I don't know if the Ravens will be. I don't see the Ravens beating San Francisco, even though the Ravens are the better team. I think if anybody's going to beat San Francisco, it could possibly be the Rams at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I could see the Rams because they're same division. They always play them tough, same division. They know each other well, and the Rams could be fighting for a wild card. I could see that being the spot where maybe the 49ers slip up. But
yeah, I'd take the Niners over Baltimore, but I think Baltimore can play with the Niners.
They could. I mean, that could be a spot. You know, I mean, let's hope. And Baltimore,
but I agree with you.
What's that?
I think the Rams are the most dangerous left on their schedule for them. You know, because like you said, division game, Stafford can sling it. It looks like Cooper Kupp's getting healthy again.
Yeah.
Puka's a beast.
A shoulder.
Yeah.
Kyron, dude,
rotator cuff strain.
the Rams are low key. The Rams are low key a very high powered offense. Like Cooper Kupp, Puka, Kyron Williams is a Pro Bowl running back. Has been top 5 running back in the league.
Exactly.
He's a beast.
That's why they got rid of Akers, Akers, Darrell Henderson. Well, no, Darrell Henderson, excuse me, is back, but Kyron Williams, back to your point, he's that spark plug, man. He was good at Notre Dame. Even Joey could tell you. I mean, but yeah, coming out the gate, man, the kid got some speed and he's good. He's shifty.
Yep.
Yeah, Maurice Wright said last night's defensive performance, Love would scorch that secondary.
Oh, absolutely. He would pick and choose. He would pick apart.
Any QB in the league that scores that defense right now in the middle of the field.
We're such in disarray with the secondary. They, like we said earlier, they need to regroup and hopefully get the player personnel because, it ain't cutting.
Lamar. Eddie Prather says Lamar needs to prove he could win in the postseason. Totally agree. Hey, let's just hope he could. Let's just hope he could win in San Francisco in the regular season because that would be nice.
Yeah.
Chris Rapizzi said, could the Eagles play the Rams in the championship game? That would be highly unlikely. I mean,
that wouldn't happen.
I don't see the Rams. I mean, I don't even see the Rams winning a playoff game, but it would be nice if they had a chance to get in the playoffs because then maybe they could beat the 49ers. Mike Lauro says, how long before Shaq Leonard becomes a good player? Maybe next week. A full week of practice. I think next week and the following week, if he has anything left, I think he'll show it. I mean, he was only in 25% of the snaps this past week. So
yeah,
but he's
coming up. I think it will be more of it.
He's been playing football. He hasn't necessarily been out of football. He's been playing football with the Colts. He just wasn't in
the plans.
The mix in the plans. Yes, exactly.
So
at least he's game ready. But as far as Mike's point, hopefully he can be accustomed to the defense from start to finish.
Yep.
Got another comment here. Maurice Wright says, shit, Dak needs to prove he can win in the playoffs. Yeah, that's true.
True.
That's true. I'll tell you. Scary thing is, though, I don't know if it's combination Dak, combination Mike McCarthy's play calling, but to me, this is the best I've seen Dak play maybe ever. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen Dak play better than this.
Nah, he's the MVP right now.
I think so.
When you have the player personnel, he has Tony Pollard, he has a great rookie tight end Ferguson.
CeeDee Lamb's unreal.
Cooks,
CeeDee Lamb's unreal.
Yeah, exactly. But he has these guys he can rely on. And they have different plays, different schemes. They're not so much vanilla, but
Yeah.
You know what's sad, guys? So I'm looking at these stats from last night, right? Dallas was 9 for 6 on third down, and that technically was an improvement by our defense. I'm sorry, 9. What did I say? 9 for 6. I meant 9 for 16. They were 9 for 16 on third down, which is over 50%, and we actually improved.
Yeah, it's horrible.
In fact, at one point, I think it was about halftime. I think our defense had given up touchdowns on 10 consecutive drives, other than when the other team kneeled down.
I feel like I've only seen one player play good on our defense in the last 2 weeks, and it's been Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox is still bowling.
Fletcher Cox, the only guy bowling.
Dudes on the team too.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest guys on the team. Is the only guy still bowling.
Mike Laura with a great point right here. He says, "How come Michael Gallup only shows up against the Eagles?" That's true. He had a hell of it. I'll tell you. Again,
our defense sucks.
Again, I hate the Cowboys, but that was a hell of a play. That one pass by Dak and that catch by Gallup, that was a hell of a play. That was a great play.
We don't have the player personnel. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Well, what did you guys think of because we've seen it looks like Bradbury's aged in dog years.
Mhm.
I was a little I know he had a penalty. I know he got like the hat trick of penalties, but I kind of was a little encouraged to at least see Kaylee Ringo out there on the field because I'd like to. At least he looks like he's got athletic ability. Where maybe you kind of work him in towards the end of this year and maybe see if you got something there because we got to do
Yeah,
something.
Absolutely.
it was encouraging to see him on the field. Period.
You didn't spend you didn't trade up for a fourth round to get him. You know, you got to see what he's worth. If not, then he's as good as shit.
Maurice Wright with a good point here. Yeah, true. He says Cox and Graham are bowling. I noticed Graham lined up in the tackle position. He had a better push than Davis and Carter. He did, and I'll tell you what. Listen, I'm a huge Jalen Carter fan. He started off great. And I think he's going to be a great player. Let's be real though. Let's keep it real. The Eagles missed Javon Hargrave's push up the middle. I think
Big time.
I think that is the biggest. That's the biggest thing this defense is missing right now. That's you look at this D line from last year. Like Cox is playing good ball. Graham's playing good ball. The one thing they're missing is that constant pressure from the inside, and they had that last year with Javon Hargrave. They're not getting it this year.
Maybe
I think that also has to do with how fast these quarterbacks get the ball at their hand because our corners are so bad. Last year, the middle of the field wasn't that bad. Kazir White and TJ Edwards are quick. They can make plays. They could get over and cover a corner, a receiver sometimes. You know what I mean? Our corners in general were better. Avonte Maddox was healthy. Our safeties were better. CJ could come up and cover these guys. And when you make the quarterback hold the ball longer because you can keep coverage more, you're going to see more of a push than you do in 2 seconds.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's just look at this for a second. We lost Hargraves, the inside pressure. TJ Edwards and Kazir White, both very athletic linebackers that can make plays all over the field. CJ Gardner-Johnson made plays all over the field. Even Epps, dude. Even Epps.
Yeah, even Epps. You're right. Even Marcus Epps.
Epps was a serviceable safety. Like I'll tell you what, if you put Epps out there right now, he'd be our best safety.
Yeah.
And then other than Blankenship is okay at
times. It's okay.
Right. So is Epps better than Blankenship? Tomato. You know what I'm saying? But like the bottom line is, and then Maddox. So you lost Maddox, Johnson, Epps, Edwards, Kazir White, and the push up the middle of Hargrave. Of course, this defense isn't going to be as good.
100%.
Mike Laura says Ringo and Ricks will be better in the future. Let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, Ringo, I think, has athletic ability. Ricks, he was undrafted for a reason, but I do think maybe he has a chance to be a serviceable player, but we'll see.
Well, Ricks is playing a hell of a lot on special teams. He might go to the Pro Bowl. They call him Wild Stallion. He leads the team in tackles.
Yeah, and isn't it ironic too that like the one guy that everybody wanted to shit can last year, Michael Clay, the special teams coach, it's probably the best unit we got right now.
Yeah, it's the best part of our team. Covey had a nice return yesterday too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maurice Wright says, I feel TJ Edwards would have been a big difference last night. Oh. Totally agree Absolutely. With you. Mike Laura says, only silver lining is the CJ Gardner-Johnson as a free agent. Yeah, I think that ship sailed though, because he, I mean,
too much beef.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back.
I think there was something in the old front office. Something happened.
Maurice Wright says, CJ Gardner-Johnson's the reason Bradbury had a good year last year.
Couldn't agree more.
Go, he would not pay him. You know what?
I was going to say, with the safeties and the middle of the field being covered, I feel like that actually hid as how good Bradbury and Slay actually are. Made it easy. It took a lot of pressure off of them.
True.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, obviously, this football team's focus is the last 4 games, the playoffs, making this run this year. But going forward, I mean, this team needs to invest heavily in young athletic corners, athletic linebackers, safeties. I mean, this team needs almost a complete overhaul of the back seven.
I sent it to you this morning about the linebackers in the corners. You got to get linebackers first and foremost.
100%.
Break that cycle. I don't want to hear, "Oh, we don't do it." You have to.
Hey,
look at the shit show performance going on forward from the Buffalo Bills game, the Kansas City game. It shows. You need linebackers that can cover and that can cover the middle and hit the shit out of people. And that's what we don't have.
Yep.
Jeremiah Trotter's son's coming in.
Exactly.
Now, let's bring him home, man.
Exactly. The kid that won Defensive Player of the Year, Maurice and me were talking about it. Peyton Wilson, North Carolina State. Kid's hungry. Kid's tape don't lie. And just like you said, Trotter Jr., he's a beast. And then they got a kid from Ohio State, Eschenberg, 6'2", 240. That's what we need.
Yeah, but let's be honest though. The odds of the Eagles taking a linebacker in the first round are probably extremely slim. But
he'll take a corner before he takes a linebacker.
Yeah.
But we do need a young corner. So I mean, if you tell me we could get a solid corner in the first round, I'd be totally cool with that. And then the Eagles do have 2 second-round picks. You got New Orleans second-round pick. You have your own second-round pick. Maybe you invest in linebacker in the second, third rounds. But either way, you got to get athletes on this team because the linebacker. I'll tell you. You know what I really noticed? Dallas's defense is so much faster than ours.
Yeah,
that's what I really know. That's one thing I really noticed. Like you watch that Cowboys defense. I mean, my God, they look like they were on a whole other speed level than the Philadelphia Eagles defense. You know what I mean? Like, like for instance, they would throw one over the middle of their receiver. It seemed like they got like 9-10 yards, no problem. We threw little crossing patterns to like Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and they were right up our ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it's that instinct, it's that technique, it's like you said, speed. You can't teach that. You can't.
They're also very well coached. I think
Dan, what is it?
Dan Quinn.
Yeah,
Dan Quinn.
Dude, he's I liked him when he was with Seattle, and he was damn good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a corner.
I mean, the dude's good.
Maurice Wright says drafting the Buckus Award winner isn't a reach at all. Howie needs to be intelligent this draft. Wilson may be a dominator. They need that now. Maurice, listen, we're in agreement. I mean, I think the three of us would love to get a dominant linebacker early in the draft. I just don't see them doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd love to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well,
how great would it be? How great would it be? Like for instance, you watch the Ravens. You watch Roquan Smith out there.
He's such a beast.
What a difference that kid has made on that team. As soon as they got him, their defense took off.
Yep. 21 tackles 3 weeks ago.
He's such a beast.
His record. 21 tackles, dude. Now that's a sideline linebacker.
Just look at the difference Fred Warner makes for San Fran.
Yeah.
Like him and Greenlaw, it's like sometimes you don't even notice their safeties or anything else because they just handle the whole middle of the field.
They survey that field. Yeah, you're right. And they get to where they need to go.
But I feel like Kaiser White and TJ Edwards gave us that speed, that coverage, that sideline to sideline coverage, like San Fran gets out of their linebackers, like Baltimore gets out of their linebackers, and we kind of just let them go.
Eddie Prather with an interesting. He says, "Joe, do the Eagles go O-line in the first round?" I mean, honestly, I could see that, and I mean, as long as they pick the right player, because we are getting a lot of age in our O line. I mean, if they pick the right guy, I couldn't necessarily argue it, but I do. I mean, I really think they gotta get back seven help. They gotta get somebody.
You got Steen for Lane, Jorgens for Kelsey. So it would make sense, but you know me, I'm a defensive guy. I want either a linebacker or a cornerback. You got to, So
I mean, if Lane's going to play another year or two, as much as I wouldn't mind, as much as I could see how we go in O-line, you might be able to get away with go and tackle, in maybe a year or two from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, like right now, if you're trying to make another Super Bowl run, I mean, this team needs a young corner or corner, linebacker, safety type player.
Right? Yeah,
you need a fire like an igniter on defense. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You already got it up front with Jalen Carter, but you got to accommodate them behind him.
Yeah. Eddie Prather says Lane Johnson isn't young. Hey, totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, they definitely could do that, but I'm just saying if Lane does play another year or two, you might be able to punt on that for like maybe the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't say they wouldn't do it because they always invest in the O-line.
Exactly. I mean, and you got Stoutland. Stoutland does the O-line drills and evaluates half the players that are in Indianapolis. So
yeah,
he has an upper hand with that. So Stoutland, you baby. So
yeah, and you see you see how the Eagles, what the Eagles' record is without Lane Johnson. I mean, it's usually not pretty. It's not pretty.
Right.
But all right. Well, I just got obviously we'll get more into. I mean, I got right here bounce back, but to be honest with you, though, the Eagles don't play until next Monday night, so we'll talk a lot more Eagles Seattle next Monday night because we'll be on before the game. So,
okay.
What do you think of what do you think we get a little bit of Sixers talk here?
Shoot, go ahead.
All right,
play the Wizards in about 10 minutes. Yeah. So
yes, we got the Sixers playing the Wizards, but Embiid's questionable with an injury, and anytime I think of injuries, I think of my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. If you get hurt on the job, you slip and fall, make sure you call my man Jason Fine up. He'll get you paid. And motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or personal injury claims. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, so make sure you give him a call. That friggin' game sucked last night, man, and it was late as hell. Nothing worse. I'll tell you, I never thought I'd have to say this about the Eagles because usually the Eagles are in every game. Bro, I feel like I wanted to watch that whole John. I felt like I needed some Monkey's Cold coffee last night to watch that bullshit, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, best coffee around. You could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. So, hopefully I never have to say that about the Philadelphia Eagles again because the Eagles usually don't have trash games. That was a trash game last night.
Absolutely.
But all right, well, listen, we got Joel Embiid. I know he's hurt right now, but I got MVP
on a tear.
And so's Maxey. I mean, Maxey's averaging what, 27 points, 6 assists. I mean, teams playing.
DeAndre Melton, he looked pretty solid the past game and the Hawks game. He's showing some spurts.
Everyone's playing pretty good right now besides Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
That's what I was all about to say. Tobias is really, really struggling.
We got to get him a cookie.
2-point Tobias, Yeah. That's what we're getting right now. Oubre is the savior. Yeah, Oubre's a beast.
Oubre's a beast. I got one.
Even if he did get hit by a car, who cares?
A friend of his knocked him off his bike.
Who cares? That's all I was saying from the time it happened. Who cares? Get my man back. We're better with him than without him.
Yeah. Hey, as long as he calls Jason Fine, he's all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it.
Dave Arnold says, "Hey fellas, just checking in. Hey Joe, nice jersey. See you guys. All right, hey, congrats on the win yesterday, Dave. And yeah, hey man, I'm a man of my word, and it is what it is. Hopefully next time Paul will be wearing an Eagles jersey. But for right now,
I need that jersey to wash my car after you take it.
Throw that in your fire pit after the show.
I know, right?
Yeah. Anybody want to roast marshmallows?
Hey, man! This is the second time I lost. I did the same exact bet 2 years ago on the Monday night games. You know what I just realized? I gotta stop betting him when we play in Dallas. I gotta do when we play at Lincoln. I should have done it when we played at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm screwing myself on that one.
You are,
but that's all right. It's all in fun. All right, so let's see. So we got the Sixers. We got the Wizards tonight. Yeah. Let me look at this schedule here. Sixers schedule.
Wizards are horrible. Yeah. Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma stink, and they don't stink individually, but as a duo on a team that wants to are trying to win, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
All right, so look at this upcoming schedule for the Sixers. You got hosting the Wizards at Detroit, who Christ, Detroit might be out Sam Hinkie-ing the Sixers.
Yeah.
So you got the Wizards at Detroit, then you host Detroit Friday, and then at the Hornets on Saturday, and the Bulls here on Monday. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at 5-0. I'm looking at 5-0, 4-1 at the absolute worst.
I'm thinking 4-1. If Embiid don't play tonight, and maybe he's back next game, possibly lose tonight to the Wizards, then win the next 4.
That makes sense, but I see him really going 5-0.
I kind of feel 5-0 too,
due to the Embiid injury.
Yeah, so 5-0, okay, and then after that we play Detroit. 5-0 would put the Sixers at 19-7. They're 14-7 right now, 2 games behind Boston. 5-0 puts the Sixers 19-7. And then after that, they'd have a matchup with the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were in first place in the West. The Timberwolves are a surprise, 17-4. They're 9-1 in their last 10. I'll tell you, a lot of people were dogging them after the Rudy Gobert trade, and I still think they gave up a lot for him, by the way. But I'll tell you what, Anthony Edwards is a freaking beast, man.
Well,
he's a good player.
Games, Joey. I got him he's been out the past 3 games. Anthony Edwards, I believe. I got him in fantasy.
And they're still winning. They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
Maurice Wright says, I watch the Sixers and I watch Nova. Nova has undersized forwards that play their positions well. Why are the Sixers forwards playing perimeter ball like their guards? I just think that's the NBA anymore.
Yeah.
NBA is like positionless basketball anymore.
Yeah.
Do
what you want.
Switch everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, I'm all for shitting on James Harden. I hate that Clippers team. Got to give credit where it is, though. They started off really terrible. Now they're 7-3 in their last 10. The Clippers are starting to.
What's James Harden's numbers?
A little bit. What's that?
What's James Harden's numbers?
I don't know. I didn't look, but I just know they're playing well.
Gotcha.
I hate them too. I hate them, but and then one more thing too. I mean, has there been anything more fake than that stupid ass in-season tournament? The Lakers won that, John. They beat like all dog shit teams to win it.
They beat Indiana, dude.
It was almost like I said to a dude in work, like it was set up for them to win.
Kind of.
What they really wanted was Milwaukee, LA, but that didn't happen. Yeah, it's what a shit show. It's a performance trophy. Here you go.
Tell you what though, Tyrese Halliburton is a freaking star. That kid's a hell of a player. I'll tell you what. You guys want to talk about a trade that really, really helped both teams? That's a hell of a trade. was that Halliburton for Sabonis trade.
Yeah, that's a good trade for both
It
teams.
helped out both teams. Bonus is great on the Kings, man. And I don't watch a lot, but just seeing highlights and him putting up numbers, yeah, he's pretty solid. Yeah.
Well, DeAndre Fox, there's only one ball in Sacramento, right? So Halliburton's a point guard, Fox is a point guard. They made the decision like, all right, we're going to take Fox and let's go get Sabonis. And Indiana didn't have that star point guard. Now they do.
Yeah.
Great trade for both teams.
Yeah.
It was. And if I'm Sacramento, I totally understand why they did it. I do wonder if Halliburton keeps getting better and better, if like 2, 3, 4 years from now, if some people in Sacramento are kind of like, man, De'Aaron Fox, hell of a player, but shit, maybe we should have kept Halliburton.
Yeah, Halliburton's better.
Because Halliburton looks like
I don't know who's better. Honestly, they're very similar players.
Yeah.
Halliburton's a better shooter.
Halliburton's a better shooter. Fox is better going to the basket.
Oh yeah.
And Fox is faster.
Yeah. Fox is like Fox is one of the fastest guys in the league. I mean, you look at the fastest guys in the league. Him and Maxey are like right up there.
They're the two fastest guys in the league. When I see guys go court like one side of the court to the other side of the court, it's them guys. They fly. Obviously, John Morant's really fast. John Morant's really fast getting up and down the court.
They were fast when they played at Kentucky, man. I think they won the championship. I mean, they were balling. That was a hell of a team. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's crazy. So yes, we got Sixers. Hopefully go 5-0. I got before we get out of here too. I want to show the Flyers some love, man. I know we don't.
They beat Colorado in Colorado.
I was going to say, went to Colorado, beat Colorado. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel a little bad because I grew up, man. I grew up. I loved hockey growing up, and I still do like hockey. And there's times I'd like to talk a little more hockey on this show, but I mean, let's keep it real. Football. We're in December. Football's the story.
The bread and
butter.
Right.
But as these months go on, and the I mean, Travis Konecny is playing some great hockey. Carter Hart's playing some good hockey.
Yeah, Carter Hart had 37 saves against Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this Flyers team's playing well. I mean, you got right now they're 27 games played. They're 15-10-2. The 32 points. They're second in the Metropolitan Division behind the Rangers. I mean, who? I know it's early, but who the hell?
I would say they do have a little bit of luck. They do have a little bit of luck because they have like the most games played also in the conference.
Okay.
Yeah, but bro, only by like a game. Like I'm looking right here.
Well, I know they got Washington got like 3 less games or 2 less games than us.
Yeah, 2. Okay, Washington has 2, but the Islanders only have 1.
Yeah, Devils only have 1. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, it's not that much of a difference.
No, it's not that much of a difference. Not that much.
So, I mean, you figure what the Flyers got 25 games played. I mean, you're not quite halfway point, but I mean, I have below their playoffs now. Obviously, it's a little early to talk playoffs, and I know that's not necessarily the ownership's goal, but I kind of like Carter Hart was interviewed the other night, and he said that the mentality of this team is basically like, hey, you know what? I know nobody expects us to do anything, but we're going to go out there and we're going to ball and we're going to see what happens. And that's exactly what they're doing. And I like the culture that's being established.
I was going to say that's Tortorella culture right there. Go out, play hard. Hockey's a scrappy game. Pucks pop up in front of the net and you just finish your opportunities. And the Flyers are doing that right now.
They want to prove people wrong too, because they were in stock last year. So it's like, okay, Tortorella, like you said, feeds them that old school hockey, and it's like put up or shut up. And now it's like, screw you, punch you in the mouth, take your money, and be that bully.
And they're playing tough right now.
Yeah,
I like it.
And John Tortorella literally made a comment the other day. He said this team has balls.
Has balls, yeah.
He finally likes this, the way he's gotten this team, the way he likes, the way he plays, like Diego said. And only good stuff moving forward. You know, you got two hell of goalies from the starter to the backup. You know, so.
But by the way, it looks like Embiid's going to play. I'm watching. I have the sound down, but he's out there. He's out there shooting around.
Nice.
So it looks like Embiid's going to play. So
Nice.
So good, 5-0.
yes. So let's get this dub. And then the fly. Let's see. Let me look at the Flyers schedule real quick. Let's break down these next few Flyers games. All right, let me see here. Flyers schedule here. Yeah, listen, because I was saying, there was a part of me that's like, all right, let's get another high draft pick, and then they listen. By the time the year ends, they still may wind up missing the playoffs and getting the top like 10, 11, 12 pick. But right now, you know what I mean? I like watching them. They're fun to watch. All right, so Flyers here. Before we go back on here, Flyers got 3 games. They got at Nashville tomorrow at 8:00. Then they host Washington here Thursday night, 7:00 here, and then they host the Red Wings Saturday night, December 16th.
2-1.
2-1. Hey, I'll tell you what, because the Red Wings and the they're all
Red Wings are good.
Red Wings will lose too.
Wow.
Nashville and Washington, I see them winning.
Wow.
Yeah, give me 2.
I say 1 and 2. I think they beat Nashville. They lose to Washington and
Detroit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say 2-1.
Yeah. Now both of those games are at home. They're at Nashville, but then they play. Yeah, like I said, then they host Washington. They host the Red Wings. I'll say 1. You know what? I'm going to say 2-1. I'm not sure which one. I think they lose to the Nashville tomorrow. I think they lose to Nashville tomorrow night because they've already won a bunch of games on the road. Mm-hmm. And, when you're on the end of a long road trip, sometimes that last game, you kind of have some jet lag or whatever. Yeah. But they come home and they play well. And, interesting stuff. And then, Diego, next Tuesday they play at the Devils. I know your man Kyle will be into that. I know he's a big Devils fan, right?
Yeah, I know Devils are on a heater too. I think they're like won 7 games in a row or something like that.
Yeah, all right. Well, maybe one of these times we'll have him hop on to talk some Devils hockey.
Sounds good. I'll let him know.
All right, cool. Well, listen. All right, guys. You know what? Let's get ready to wrap up here. Did we already pick the Monday? We already picked the Monday night games, right?
Yeah,
we picked them earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I like Green Bay and Miami. So, all right. Well, I guess shoot, we got a big week ahead. Hopefully the Sixers go 5-0. Hopefully the Flyers win some games, and then next Monday night we'll be doing Eagles Seattle preview. So we'll be back next week, and hopefully, hey man, what's messed up? This is only the 3rd time. We've only had to do 3 of these coming off a loss. So hopefully we get back in the win column next week.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
All right, y'all. Well, listen, have a great week, everybody.
You too.
Go Birds, go Flyers, go Sixers, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.